Drink beer, it's good for you.
Hello and welcome to the video. In this video I'll be sharing sights and details from the main international beverage industry trade event in the world. This event attracts industry people from everywhere. This event is known for being very beer dominated, and this year was no different. A great start for sure. After a couple of short flights from Norway, I landed in Nuremberg and was soon enjoying some of Germany's vast supply of great beer. The next morning the adventure into this truly massive event actually begun. Not long after we arrived, an early personal highlight presented itself in that Yakima Hops were giving out freebies. They had some very interesting varieties, and despite there being a 3-pack limit per person, it was clear that many people were overstepping this. They must have handed out a large lorry loads worth during the event. There were of course many other large hop suppliers at the event like Charles Farm and Bathhouse, as well as many other smaller suppliers, all with their own twist and speciality. Naturally, maltsters were also at the event in great numbers, which included some of my favourites like Castle Malting, seen here, who are proudly displaying some of their finest, including their wheat chocolate malt, which you will notice I use a fair amount in my recipes. The Great Whalemen were also there of course, and took the very fair and reasonable position of serving everyone free beer. They were certainly not alone in doing this, but it is always appreciated of course. My long-term friends Simpson Malt were also there, showing off their huge range and encouraged tasting. It was without doubt the healthiest thing I consumed during my stay. It is really a great feeling to know that homebrewers these days are taking notice of malt quality, and there is a whole scene of craft malt emerging these days that personally I find very satisfying, rather than all the talk being about the latest type of citrus hop, if you know what I mean. Yeast was also very well represented at the event, and Fermentis had 3 new products that they announced. The first of these is Safe Sour LP652, which is apparently ideal for kettle souring and brings a clean lactic flavour along with tropical citrus and fruity notes with a fresh quality. Also Spring Blanche, which offers a variable level of haze that is very stable. It is essentially a yeast protein extract and fits with the seemingly never-ending desire for haze these days. Then came the news of Safbrew LA01, which is apparently perfect for low or non-alcoholic beers. Sadly, this is only available in brewery packs that are 500 grams, and you will need to pasteurize the end beer. Oh well. Lollerman were also exhibiting, and have now launched their own Voskveg yeast, which was pretty awesome to see for sure. Though I have to say this has been done by quite a few already, and it would have been really nice to see something truly new. No disrespect at all though, guys. The training and educational side of the business was also well represented at the event, which I believe is more important than ever, as much of the brewery staff of the world these days are actually employed unqualified. Do not get me wrong, it is great that this has been relaxed in some ways, but there is simply nothing more important than knowledge. Equipment-wise, there was a great deal on show that is probably of little relevance to the homebrewer, but I guess it is still nice to see some of this brewery equipment anyway. There certainly was a huge amount of it on show, right from manufacturers that you have probably never heard of to some that you probably have. This equipment was not just for beer brewing either. There was much for the distilling industry, and some of this stuff is simply amazing eye candy, as you can see here. If you are wondering what I would like for Christmas, then here it is. Be sure to know that I have little interest in using it, I just simply want to stare at it. Okay, let us come back down to earth now and look at some of the homebrew equipment. Firstly, as you may already be aware, Grainfather were at the event exhibiting their new 70-litre system. This was nothing new to me, to be quite honest, as I had a beta version for testing earlier in the year, and the version displayed did not appear to be much different. There was quite some surprise around the price they announced, and I have covered this, the release date and much more information in a video already. In speaking with Brian at Short Circuited Brewers YouTube channel, he tells me that he will also have a video out soon that looks at this news from an American perspective, so look out for that one too. From a New Zealand company onto the heavyweights of Australia, there was some representation of products from down under from both Kegland and Keg King. Sadly, these companies are very bitter rivals, but as someone who just values good products and not politics, the Aussies are going squarely at very affordable solutions that I would like to test more of in the future. Not to say that Chinese companies are taking any of this lying down though, and their reiterations seem to get better every year. Let us not forget that all of this equipment is manufactured by Chinese factories anyway, no matter whose marketing brand badge is on the front. This particular brewing system seems to draw inspiration from a few very familiar products. And so does this fermentation vessel here. Moving closer to home now, and it was great to see the final design for release for the Plato Keg. I've had a very good beta testing experience with this, and I very much look forward to testing this final version and doing a follow-up video review for it. Who doesn't love gadgets really? Another area of equipment that was certainly well covered at the event was kegs in various different types, shapes, colours, sizes and construction materials. No matter what you were looking for keg-wise, there is seemingly solutions out there leading down in size into growlers. Personally, I was particularly taken with the great traditional designs of these glass growlers shown here. Moving back to kegs, and I guess it's fair to say that we need serving solutions. It is certainly becoming more popular for people to recreate a pub serving experience at home than ever before, and there were a huge amount of very attractive serving tap options on show here. Clearly there are some very creative people involved in this, and it was great to see their work collectively on display. Quite surprisingly, there were not actually that many kegerators on show here, but here is one that I really did like the look of that is for outside use, known as the beer bot. Beer coolers and dispensers were out in force though, ranging from simple tabletop solutions as shown here, where you simply add your pre-cooled beer into the container and add ice to a separate compartment to keep it cool, up to much more advanced solutions like these cooler dispensers. I note that this side of the market is certainly growing, and things like this used to just be rental only, whereas now homebrewers are buying them. That is not to say that our old friend the beer bottle was forgotten at this event. There was clear evidence here that it is still very commonly in use, along with the required beer caps. This particular stand really got my attention for design thought. Just look at this beer cap table that was featured. For those of you who are beer barrel lovers or cask lovers, you would not have been disappointed. There were suppliers like this one offering custom barrels and chips, along with many suppliers offering off-the-shelf options like these. If you are looking for more beer glassware, then this was also well covered with glasses available in all shapes and sizes, along with some that offered extra features like this one. I guess there is no such thing as bad head. I have to say though, one of the nicest things about this event was just how friendly people were, and some even dressed up nicely as well. During the evenings we managed to find some very interesting places in Nuremberg, some of which offered some great but sometimes questionable food. But naturally it was the beer that was without any doubt the consumed favourite of any evening. However, it was truly great to get back to my homebrew beer for my preferred beer taste. This is the only problem with home brewing really. You soon realise how easy it is to brew better beer at home than a brewery can due to the economy of scale, and thus commercial beer really starts to wear thin very quickly. Oh well. This now brings this video to a close. If you have any questions, then please let me know via YouTube or Facebook. I do hope that you found this video to be useful, interesting and enjoyable. If appropriate, then please like this video on YouTube, and if you've not done so already, then please subscribe. I regularly post new content. Happy brewing!